So let's get into the Nintendo Switch 2 that's been out for a year as of June 5th, 2025. And yes, it's been over a year, and oh my goodness, has it been some time. Now, ever since the Switch 2 has launched, there has been ups and downs for it. Now, in my personal experience of just actually initially getting it, and oh my goodness, when it was launched and everybody was trying to get it, it was just a little bit of a hard time to actually get a Switch 2, and I obviously finally got one. But yeah, that was a crazy time to get a Switch 2. But here's the thing about overall, kind of like my first, I would say, impressions overall, or over really honestly just a yearly impression of having the Switch 2 and just basically the growth. Now let's just kind of get right into it. Now the cool thing about obviously having a Switch 2 and obviously previous Switches is just the whole handheld capabilities, and I've even said this before in my previous videos. I've just, the Nintendo Switch and the Switch 2 is just easy for a lot of gamers. Now I'm gonna kind of put some things into context here. I also do PC game and have more mature games, more in-depth games, like more open world RPGs, soul-like games, and that's where more of like obviously play on PC. And I used to be on console like Xbox and PS5, but nonetheless of the actual hardware of getting into that. Now I get it, the Switch 2 isn't going to be for everybody depending on your gamer needs and in terms of also to performance. But let's just get one thing straight and right to the point. Now the cost of the Nintendo Switch used to be around $450, now going to $500 USD because of obviously the market. But let's just say this, over the year and the Nintendo Switch 2 library has definitely improved. Now yes, when it first launched it didn't really have a lot of like Switch 2 exclusives and there were some hiccups, and of course that is bound to happen, but hey, you stick through it and you obviously see a year later. Now a year goes by pretty quick, and for the fact to see how much Switch 2 has grown in terms of the library and the upcoming games and the overall performance is absolutely stellar. And of course with the Switch 2, if you are looking to get one, yeah, it's definitely worth the buy, and especially nowadays with the new Switch 2 bundles around what, $500 USD, that you'll be able to get 3 game titles, or at least pick one of the 3. Now get at the same time too is that Nintendo is pushing these, you know, Switch bundles, or even the 3 games you pick, which I want to say was Mario Kart World, Pokopia, or Pokopia, however you want to say it. Let me know in the comments how you say it. I think it is also too including what you call it, the Donkey Kong Bonanza. You get to pick either one of those 3 as a bundle. Yes, it is a digital download, but yeah, as a business they're going to want to have those 3 top tier games that, you know, made the Nintendo Switch or get it such a big hype around it to get the Switch into more of the hands for gamers that want to actually play it. Now overall, I say it is absolutely worth it. I have had a blast from playing on the go, if I'm chilling in the car or taking it to work or any kind of commute that I'm just chilling, waiting around, or just bringing it into work and just being able to play some Switch titles. And yes, the Switch has its own titles, and it's not going to be able to play like Steam library games or Xbox Game Pass, obvious. There are more expensive handheld games, and don't get me wrong, even $500 is still a pretty penny to pay for a handheld device, but you got to look at it this way. Compared to other handheld devices that are approaching over $1,000 or close to it, is a pretty penny in terms of the pricing. But yeah, obviously you're going to get more performance on there, but I've said it before, the Switch 2 is just easy. Even for me, when I will get a game, and this is what I like about the Switch 2, is that I don't have to worry about tinkering or messing around with custom settings or changing out performance options and all that kind of stuff. This is kind of like the whole PC side of things, where you have to kind of customize every single game, or at least I do, and I don't want to have to do that. That's why I like the Switch 2, and I feel like that's a good option for a lot of Switch players or anybody looking to get into a Switch that maybe you don't want to have to be, I would say for better terms, technical or tech savvy just to play a game to get it run. And performance wise, when you are spending over $1,000 on a handheld, or even $800 plus on a handheld device, where you just want to play the game and not having to worry about choosing certain settings and graphics and presets and all that kind of stuff, yeah, it's annoying. But you know, some people might be okay with having that in their handheld modes or particular handheld devices. But for the Switch, and so, you know, for the Switch 2, that you just be able to get the game, play it as is, and right out the box, it's good to go. They have a great library for any kind of gamers that are just simply want to play Nintendo exclusive games, such as like the Mario games, and I'm a big fan. Say what you will, but the Mario games are fantastic. Can't wait for it. And also too, on top of being the Nintendo Direct games, or if you watch the recent Nintendo Direct, that they got a couple new games that are coming out. One of the So one of the games I'm looking forward to is the Wii or Sports or Resorts. That's fun to play, but having it overall, I cannot be any more happier than the performance of the handheld of itself at 4K on dock mode at 120 frames, 60 frames. It just runs great. Now I get it. A lot of people complain about, oh, the battery life. Yeah, the battery life, but you gotta look at it this way. The Switch, the Switch 2 is very thin, right? I mean, how much more of a battery that you want it to last without compromising the actual travel size or the size of the actual Switch? And a lot of people play, obviously, in handheld mode. When you're holding it, you don't want something that's super heavy in the hands, especially if you play for 30 minutes to an hour of handheld mode. You got to compromise. You get what I'm saying? But overall, this Switch 2 is going to be an absolutely best probably handheld device in terms of actual cost and being able to play as a user friendly, or just anybody who just simply just wants to play some cozy games or any other indie games that are on the Switch in the Switch 2 library or the Switch library eShop. And also too thinking that they're going to be changing it to just Nintendo Shop or something like that. But they have great deals going on. There's a lot of good indie games out there that are on the Switch that you can play on there, so it's very fun. But yeah, overall the year has gone by, and I cannot wait to see what more that Switch or Nintendo is going to be putting out for the Switch 2 and for the whole console lineup. Now, I do wish there was a little bit more, but accessories. There are some great controllers out there that are for the Switch. Now, there's the Pro 2, but I don't even know if I was going to go with the Pro 2 controller. If you have a Pro 2 controller for your Switch 2, let me know what you think of it. But again, coming back to overall being a year later, I feel like with the recent updates, the system updates, and the overall performance, I couldn't be any more happier, and it's definitely worth every penny for getting the Nintendo Switch 2 if you're a casual gamer or somebody that just wants to get into gaming and play your games and just be on the go with it. And yes, like I said, there are other handheld games or handheld games sets that you can play, but it's the money to it, but to each their own. But if you're really truly not looking to break the bank and like the Nintendo Switch library, then yeah, definitely go for it. But also too, look at those bundles. Those bundles are freaking amazing. Now that also too kind of comes back to where a lot of these games are getting a little bit more of a larger file size, that they're not able to put it on those discs or the cartridges. I do like physical media, so I'm more physical media and collecting, but they are going more towards the digital downloads, which I get. A lot of people don't care for digital downloads, or they prefer physical media, which I get. But at the same time, they are putting out more modern games with more built with higher developing engines to make the graphics for those games to perform better on the Switch 2. But that's going to happen. That's the evolution of growing your gaming content for the Nintendo Switch 2. But again, overall, Switch 2, absolutely hands down, go for it if you're looking to get a gaming handheld for a family member, yourself, a gift, or whatever the case may be. It is definitely worth every penny. Absolutely could not be any happier with getting the Switch 2 or having the Switch 2 for this time. And this is running great. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think for your Switch 2. And if you're planning to get one, let me know if you're going for those bundles and what game that you're going to be picking for that bundle. The next video, see you guys around.